Well, hello and welcome to something a little bit different today. I'm joined by a colleague and a friend for this episode, and that colleague and friend is Honest Football Podcast co-host Craig Savage. Hello, Craig.
Hello, Daniel. It's very nice to be on the Load FM channel.
It is, and only temporarily actually, because we are completing a fantasy draft on Football Manager 2020 because we are about 5 days into no football and we are already both terribly bored. Today, we have both randomly created a side. We haven't gone through the fantasy draft. We've taken the 18 players we've been allocated, and we are going to play a two-legged tie. And hopefully, I'm not going to get embarrassed by one of my co-hosts in my first collaboration on the channel.
Well, this is it. That'll be the end of the channel with myself beats you.
It wouldn't be great for my reputation. That is a fair cop.
And you've got some very good followers on your Load FM channel,
So the format for this is that we are going to play a two-legged tie. The first one we will play on this channel, of course, used to Football Manager, so it's a good place to start. And then the second leg is going to be over in a few days' time over on the podcast channel.
Yeah, it's absolutely. Obviously, we hope that we can gain subscribers from this, from the FM community.
So obviously, if you want to see both legs of this tie, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast channel as well. There's plenty of other fun bits over there as well. Some match day vlogs and such like. You can see most of those in the eye above. There's some links to some of the playlists from my channel and from the podcast channel up there. And also, in the second leg, I will be playing against Craig. But then we will hopefully both be playing against Charlie at some point as well. Isn't that right, Craig?
Yeah, if he gets a laptop that's from the year 2020 rather than Windows 98.
Is it Windows 98? I thought he was still on XP, was he?
I thought, is Windows XP before 98?
Oh, no idea. But one of those two, so not very good. Yeah. So the plan for this is that we are going to skip through to the start of the first leg. So obviously you can meet the players that we've both got. And we're going to sort of talk you through the players we've got and the tactic we've gone for and why. So we've never done this before. Neither of us have ever played the fantasy draft. So let's just go through the pre-match ramble and see what on earth it entails for us. So, first page, this is a bit of interesting news, Craig. You are the favourite for some reason.
Oh, very interesting, very interesting. Looking at my squad before we start this recording, I'm very happy with my squad.
So you're very happy. I'm actually not, as I told you in quite detail. We don't know each other's players, but we obviously talked about the generics of our squad, and mine features half teenagers and no strikers.
Yeah, I've got a few young lads in my squad, but I've got a valuable veteran in my team.
Interesting. I'm basically reliant on two players as we go into it.
Interesting.
Interestingly, otherwise, the admission price is £50, and it's at Wembley, despite the fact we had to pick a ground before we started.
Yeah, we had to name the stadiums for ours, which is not ideal, because what's the point of me setting that up just to play at Wembley?
I couldn't agree with you more.
£50 is a rip-off.
Yes, no match should be £50, but we are obviously competing, me and Craig, for the inaugural edition of the very well coveted Honest Football Podcast Cup.
Absolutely, and it's a valuable prize to have, and I've just been told the referees Keith Hackett.
Don't even go there. We're not causing any trouble to Keith Hackett today, not on my channel anyway.
No. Good afternoon, Keith.
Obviously, this will be a virtual trophy because due to social distancing, that's the whole reason we're here. We aren't able to do a proper handover, but hopefully, if all the technology has gone well, you will be able to see our two ugly mugs in the bottom corner of the screen. Right, into the game, and we are going to talk through our squad and tactics. You can see them on the screen for the first time now, and it looks like, I see what you meant about your experienced veteran, Craig, because we have got the two best players in world football, one up front for each of us.
Have you got Lionel Messi in your team?
I have got Lionel Messi.
So Messi v Ronaldo.
It is Messi v Ronaldo. The rest of the teams, actually yours is very similar to mine. It's largely young English players, and then one experienced midfielder from Manchester City called Silva.
Yeah, very interesting. So who you got on? I still can't see the screen. But who do you have on your bench? Any notable players, obviously from lower down divisions, or?
So I don't actually. I have a number of youngsters from the Premier League. I guess my two sort of lower profile ones are Dwight McNeil from Burnley and Ademola Lookman, who's obviously been out on loan in Germany recently. But you've got a couple of Luton players, which I find quite interesting.
Yeah, so the beloved Luton Town players is Simon Sluga, the goalkeeper, who's not had the best start of the season, but recently, before the suspension of the Football League, has been playing really well. And FA Cup winner, Callum McManaman.
Correct, yes, you have. And interestingly, I presume that's because you said your favourite team was Luton in game, I would imagine.
I did, yeah.
Fair enough. So I'll talk you through my team and tactic and the reasons for it. So basically, I haven't got a central striker bar young 17-year-old Mason Greenwood, who's not rated too great on this game. So he's on the bench. And that means I've had to put Messi up front with you obviously having Ronaldo, so that'll be a bit of a challenge there.
Yeah.
I haven't got a proper left back, so you've got the England international Ben Chilwell.
Yeah.
I'm on Man United youngster duty again because I've got Brandon Williams.
He's a very good defender. Very good.
He is.
He's got both footed, likes to get on, likes to tackle as well. And yeah, I think he'd be very good in the future.
And one of the things I can't work out from here is why I've got so many Manchester United players, because at centre half I've also been forced to play Axel Tuanzebe.
Hey, another good young centre half that went on loan last season at Aston Villa. He's done very well. It's a shame he's just had any injuries this season.
He has actually, yeah. So I'll just run you through my 11. I've got England number 1, Jordan Pickford in goal. I've got Brandon Williams and Aaron Wan-Bissaka at fullbacks, the Manchester United link again. Centre halves are Tuanzebe alongside Fikayo Tomori from Chelsea. In central midfield, I've got Eric Dyer, another one of my few experienced players. The only defensive-minded central midfielder I had, and I've only got 3 of them, so 2 had to play. And he's alongside Ainsley Maitland-Niles from Arsenal. In the attacking 3, I have got Bernardo Silva on the right-hand side. I've got Phil Foden in the number 10 position and Callum Hudson-Odoi over on the left wing. And then up front on his own, of course, is Lionel Messi. The substitutes bench, Nick Pope, backup England keeper, Joe Willock, Reece Nelson, Emile Smith-Rowe, a lot of Arsenal youngsters for some reason, Dwight McNeil, Ademola Lookman, and Mason Greenwood. So all youngsters, all kids, and pretty much all from the same club. So what about you, Craig?
Right, so for me, I've got Sheffield United goalkeeper Dean Henderson in goal.
You have?
Left back is Leicester's Ben Chilwell. Centre half is a Manchester United pairing, but one of the players is not there. It's Chris Smalling, who's on loan at Roma, next to Manchester United captain Harry Maguire, with Reece James of Chelsea as the right back. In defensive midfield, I've got Declan Rice, which is just as bad as Eric Dyer. In midfield too is a very lovely duo of Mason Mount and David Silva.
Bit of experience.
Very experienced. It's the sort of player you need in this squad. On the left-hand side, I've got Harvey Barnes of Leicester. On the right, a controversial one. I've gone for Bukayo Saka of Arsenal. Interesting choice. I somehow played him instead of the others who got on the bench. And Cristiano Ronaldo up top. On the bench is Simon Sluga, who no doubt will do something amazing. Mason Holgate, Ross Barkley, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Callum McManaman, and Tammy Abraham.
You missed one, mate. You've got Eddie Nketiah as well.
Eddie Nketiah, because I can't see because the screen's not working. Eddie Nketiah of Arsenal. Oh, don't matter. Eddie Nketiah is a very good player. Wasn't at Leeds, now back at Arsenal.
I'm very glad that you're questioning your tactical decisions already. That does bode well.
Now it's working a little bit. I see it.
Very good. Ross Barkley is the surprise omission, I would say, from yours. Considering we've only got about 4 experienced players each, for you not to be playing one is strange. You've got a really experienced defence, actually.
Very experienced defence. You went for Jordan Pickford as your captain?
I can be honest and say I didn't take the time to set a captain.
Oh, I just picked Cristiano because it's Cristiano.
Right, I think we should get into the first half. Obviously, we can see we've gone for some different tactics there. I don't know if you can see them at the bottom there, Craig, but
I can see it now. I can fully see it, yes.
So you've gone for vertical tiki-taka, trying to keep the ball, which I guess with the likes of David Silva and Mason Mount in the middle is a fairly sensible option.
Yeah.
Whereas I've got half teenagers, so I've just tried to basically press the nuts off you and hope that it works.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Very interesting. 2 different types of tactics. And let's see how this game goes, to be honest. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I've gone all out attack. I thank you for joining me, Craig, and let us know down in the comments, obviously, looking at the squads, who do you think is going to win the first leg? Who do you think is going to win overall? And obviously, we'll get into the first half now. And fingers crossed, Craig on punditry duties won't be able to come out on top.
I will keep impartial. Obviously, I know I've got my team, but obviously, if I see something good from the Load FM team, I will praise it.
I very much hope you stick to that. So let's head off to the dressing room. I'm obviously going to talk to my lads. You won't be able to see what Craig's doing with his, but I'm going to tell the lads to do it for the fans, because that's what my assistant has recommended. And he's called Shane Beattie.
Shane Beattie. I've got Paul Boyham.
Very good regenerated names there, aren't
and he was to do it for the fans, and I'm not going to listen to them.
Oh.
I've gone for something else. I'm just
the lads haven't listened.
Just go out there and impress me. They listen keenly, so that's good. That's what I like to see.
I've only got about 4 that have done that, so you're doing better than me. So, are you ready? Should we get into the kickoff?
I am ready. Here we go. It's Load FM versus Savage Wanderers. It's the first leg on the Load FM channel, and it's live.
You are so much better at this than me. I need to get you on here regularly. Right, into the first half, I think. Let's play.
Oh, you wearing a shirt and trousers? I'm just wearing a tracksuit.
Yeah, well, I've gone for the shirt with no suit, but we're into the first half. I've no idea what highlights we're showing here, so let's go and have a look at them, shall we? Key highlights, let's get it on a bit more. Let's go extended. We want to see a bit more of the game, don't we? Right, 7 minutes in, Craig. We're yet to see a highlight, despite being on extended. Or I say that as I'm coming back with the first attack by the looks of it. Maitland-Niles picking it up 25 yards out. Craig's looking very worried over there. Oh,
it's gone through!
Oh, no.
Oh, disallowed. He's offside.
Oh, that's an early scare for you, though, Craig.
Oh, I tell you what, Dickinson, hang your head in shame that you got away with it, though.
It looked like a bad keeper error.
It did, but Leo Messi was offside and still nil.
So, ironically, nearly 20 minutes gone, we haven't actually had a shot on target yet, and only one highlight, which wasn't the best.
No.
But as we say that, you're on the attack, Craig. So it looks like, the vertical tick-attack and a passing a ball around, it looks lovely, doesn't it?
It looks amazing, and it's not really how I do on these sort of manager games. Not really quite successful, but this is obviously against you, and this could go wrong.
Well, we're obviously both used to managing teams much further down the ladder from the start. So.
Yeah, I've gone for the kit that my team actually plays in.
Yes, you've gone for the Crawley Green kit, haven't you? My nice local side. Oh, good save, Pickford.
Yeah, great strike there by Mount, and there's a decent save there by Jordan Pickford.
I mean, people can see on my screen, I'm getting warnings galore to close down your players. So another one. Pickford again to the rescue.
Good start, though. Good start by the Wanderers. The Dirty Clarets of the Wanderers.
Oh, so is that the nickname you went for?
That's my nickname, yeah, Dirty Clarets.
I went for something to do with beating a podcast, but I can't remember what it was now. So that's not very helpful indeed. I'm a little bit upset.
Why are you a little bit upset?
I'm a little bit upset because I asked the lads to press you intently, and it doesn't look like that's happened. Now, hang on a minute. Falls for Bernardo Silva at the edge of the box. Good chance here. Oh, why did he pass?
Good luck.
Oh, why did he pass? Look at that from Eric Dyer, though, spraying the paper beautifully. Wan-Bissaka's cross block, but it's back to Maitland-Niles, who's been the key man so far, I'd argue.
He has, Cody, and Wan-Bissaka's getting lots of freedom on this right-hand side for you. I'm not particularly impressed with Ben Chilwell. He's on the booking now. You can't really put a tackle in at the moment.
Well, that's the thing I've got to hope on. But the problem is we're not really creating anything sound. We're just passing it around quite nicely and then crossing it uselessly. Look at that. I mean, it's just meat and drink for Smalling and Maguire, isn't it? Although, hang on a minute. Hudson-Odoi.
Oh, what a chance. He's got to score that, Coates. He's got to score.
That's a great volley. The technique's superb, but how do you miss them, honestly? Right, Brandon Williams at the back. It looks like I'm getting on top here. And this is the man you want one-on-one. Lionel Messi. Oh, that's
great
a great
save. Great save. That is why he's a future Man United number one there.
Probably the England number one ahead of Pickford soon, I would have thought.
Well, the Euro 2021 next year, I wouldn't be surprised.
Here's Wan-Bissaka again. I tell you what, mate, it is all Load FM now as Bernardo Silva comes down the right. Wan-Bissaka, the man's in acres of space. Into Hudson-Odoi. There it is. 1-0. Happy days. Thoughts on that defending, Craig?
Well, the defending is not great, but you have to admire the cross. Once again, Wan-Bissaka is getting space on the right-hand side. Lovely crossing. Hudson-Odoi gets it on top of Reece James, his Chelsea teammate. And it's a good header in the far corner. 1-0 Load FM.
I've got to say, if we keep a clean sheet in the first leg, I'll feel confident to defend and give you a taste of your own medicine with time wasting in the second. Oh, no. Oh no.
Injury, Eric Dyer.
Oh, dear. And as I mentioned before, I've only got 3 central midfielders. And one of them is Eric Dyer. And the only sub one is young Joe Willock, who's not rated quite the same on this game.
No, young Arsenal player. I think he's had he's been in and out of the Arsenal side, honestly, with the change of manager, with Mikel Arteta now in. I hope he might get some game time once we get back to the football season.
I mean, I've got more pressing issues, Craig, which is neither of them can play in any sort of defensive duty, which is causing a bit of trouble for me. So I'm going to have to actually adapt my tactics slightly, which obviously viewers will be able to see on screen.
Anyway.
2 minutes to half time, we're back again. It's Willock. I tell you what, the sub's made an impact. He might be making me eat my words there. Messi's not really done anything yet, but it's back to Maitland-Niles. He has done plenty in this game. Look at that ball again. It's Wan-Bissaka in acres every single time. Bernardo Silva picks it up. Back to Maitland-Niles and it's blocked.
How many more times is Aaron Wan-Bissaka getting the ball on the right hand side?
This screams of last ditch to me, Craig, from your defensive point of view.
You've got to hold that to half time and then I can actually have a go.
It's Hudson-Odoi. He might not be able to make it. I'll tell you what, that looks a dangerous one. Oh, on the counter. Oh, why's he going all the way back?
What are you doing?
Oh, that's risky. What's he doing?
God.
Panic stations in the Savage Wanderers defence.
That's typical of West Ham, of Declan Rice there. Just doesn't know what to do. Goes back to his goalkeeper and he has to kick it out. And it's half time. Oh my days.
Look at them stats. How is it only 1-0 is the only question that needs to be asked there.
As well.
50-50 possession though, so that's working for you.
Well, positive. That's the only positive I've got so far.
So I'm going to head to the dressing room and give my team talk, which obviously the viewers will be able to see. Craig's presumably going to do his. Oh, my lads are delighted.
They should be. They're very comfortable in their lead.
Aaron Wan-Bissaka, for some reason, nervous though. That's interesting. Considering the game he's had, he shouldn't be nervous about anything. So apologies for the delay, viewers. Craig Savage is making tactical changes, as you'd expect after that pretty disastrous half from him. We will get back to the action as soon as possible, but in the meantime, no musical interludes. Okay, we're into the second half with a kick-off. I've made no tactical changes as you'd expect. Anything from you, Craig?
Well, if it all went right, I made a substitution to take Declan Rice off after that piss-poor back pass, and I brought on Ross Barkley.
So you've matched me up now, 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
So are you basically succumbing to the fact that my tactics were right from the start? Oh no, Ronaldo on a free kick. That's so unrealistic. He never scores free kicks now. He's famous for not scoring them.
There you go, baby. 1-1. Brilliant free kick by the main man, Cristiano Ronaldo. And just what Wanderers need right now. 1-1.
That is, I mean, that smash and grab, it comes to mind there.
Yeah, absolutely. And sometimes you've got to accentuate the positives and hide the negatives.
Don't start with all your catchphrases on here, please, mate. You can save them for our channel. Right, nearly an hour gone. I think I'm going to be forced into changes soon because it's been all you second half, even though we've only seen that highlight. But right, this is the chance. I'm going to make changes if we don't get anything from this. Hudson-Odoi coming down the left, the goal scorer, of course. Oh, he skimmed one there. Skimmed two. Foden, Hudson-Odoi again, just wide. Right, an hour gone. Craig Savage, you have made another move. Talk us through it.
Yeah, straight swap. Eddie Nketiah is coming on for Harvey Barnes.
I presume cutting in from the left-hand side there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ironically, my worst match rating is Lionel Messi.
Well, I just took my worst one off. It was obviously Harvey Barnes.
I'm a little bit more concerned about who mine is, though, to be fair, because I haven't got any other world-class players. But I'm going to blink. 20 minutes to go. I've got to win the home leg, so let's go and make some tweaks. We're going to bring on the only striker at the club. That striker is Mason Greenwood, who Craig will know well as a Manchester United.
Very, very good player.
Plenty of pace off the bench as well. I've been wearing you down, so that's good.
Both the incredible young player.
And I'm going to make some other changes. That means we've got players in slightly different roles, which I'm hoping will work out nicely for us. But alas, we must go back into the game. So 2 changes made now because of obviously the injury in the first half.
Who's come on?
The man who has come off for me is Phil Foden, the youngster, and on for him is Mason Greenwood. What about yourself, Craig? I can see you've got Holgate on.
Yeah, I've taken Holgate, put Holgate on for Reece James. Wasn't having a good time against Cam because of the door on the right hand side, so I thought I'd play safe and use a bit more experience.
Fair enough. And I've got one more sub to make, and I've got to win. It's just over 10 minutes to go, and I don't know what to do because all my subs are wingers, and the only people I can take off are Hudson-Odoi, who's been the best player, Bernardo Silva or Lionel Messi. And although Messi's had a poor game, it feels a bit remiss of me to take him off, to be honest. I'm going to go for a massive gamble, actually. I am bringing on, and this is going to sound ridiculous, and probably is ridiculous, I'm going to bring on Reece Nelson as an attacking left wing-back.
Interesting. Very
Stupidity. Right, I don't know about you, Craig, but I'm going more attacking. I am trying to win this game somehow, and I'm on the attack now. We've got to throw in with Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka on the right, delivers into the box, headed away by Maguire. Oh! Back to Hudson-Odoi, but he's hacked away by Holgate. Just saved the day.
What is he doing there, Davidson? He's the lowest rated player of my team.
It's one of your superstars who's got the worst rating as well, but it looks like you're going to hang on for a draw here, mate, to be fair.
I'll take the point.
4 minutes to stop.
It might not be a point.
Oh, don't you dare nick this. Not after this performance. If you win this game, it's ridiculous. Twanzebe heads away, but it's straight back to you again. Oh, the man over. Here's Reece Nelson, completely out of his depth to the back post. Nketiah down for Barkley. That was a good effort. No, just wide. Just wide. Craig was getting excited there.
Oh, what a chance to sneak a 2-1 lead into the second leg, but it looks like it's just going to be a point. Hold on a minute.
No, you can't. Not like this. No, I'm not having this. You can't score from here. Holgate, got to block the cross. Good defending.
That's it, it's over.
1-1. Craig Savage, thoughts on the game? Are you happy with the result?
Much better second half compared to the first half. I'm very happy with the team, and it all goes to the second leg.
It is. I tell you what, at the start we were saying, let's go over to the podcast, see the second leg. It is one you do not want to miss based on that. A very even game in the second half, although the stats would argue that I probably should have taken my chances here, and I may well regret that going into the second leg.
Yeah, absolutely. And see, you've got to take your chances. You don't buy a ticket, you don't win the raffle. But it's still all to play for. All to play for. You never know who turns up in the second leg.
So, I mean, the big thing for me for the second leg is definitely sorting out a place for Lionel Messi where he can have a bit more of an influence. For you, Craig, any changes, or are you thinking much more of the same? Or are you going to be a bit more adventurous at home?
I think pretty much the same. We just got to be careful on our right side who is helping Ben Chilwell out, but there might be a couple of changes. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, that is the first leg over. It is 1-1. Load FM 1, Savage Wanderers 1. The battle of the podcast continues. We will be back for the second leg imminently over on the podcast channel. So make sure you go over and subscribe to that. Get the notification bell on to check that one out. But if you did enjoy this episode, please do put a thumbs up on the video. We really do appreciate you giving this one a try. Something completely different. We've never done it before, so apologies for any technical errors that are likely. If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel for daily FM20 content, to the podcast channel for regular football content, hopefully some light-hearted stuff for now, and then proper football once we get back to action. Craig Saffage, a massive thank you for joining me.
Thank you very much.
We have appreciated you being my first ever guest on Load FM, believe it or not.
Well, it's a dream come true.
I'm sure that you will know that Craig's being sarcastic there. I'll be back tomorrow as normal with my normal daily content. And obviously make sure you head over to the podcast channel over the next couple of days or so, where we will have the second leg of this gripping tie, which is on a knife edge.